boys, have you seen? We had some breaking news that popped up in the Goosebuds Discord.
Oh no!
Oh,
some horrible crime has happened.
Oh, what?
And I don't know if you recall, this is in the pre-Kevin era, the Dom era.
PK.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we riffed about a sitcom, or I guess a reality show.
Oh yeah,
called Secretly Shaq.
Of course, Secretly Shaq.
Oh yes, I edited that episode.
Yeah, Kevin, you were there spiritually, and you were in the pipes. And you know, what was our general premise of Shaq will be clearly Shaq in a bad disguise, going around, and you have to guess that he's Shaq, but also Shaq will deny himself.
Yes,
3 times.
Thrice.
3 times. Yeah, much like, was not Judas.
Peter denies Jesus 3 times.
Peter denied Jesus 3 times. And what has come out from nefarious pizza chain Papa John's, but a Papa John's commercial that is literally Secretly Shaq.
I am convinced they stole this.
Have you guys seen this? Yeah, they stole it. Have you guys seen this shit?
There's no amount of synergy. There's no amount of synchronicity in the universe that would create this without someone on the marketing team hearing us talking about this. There's no way.
Yeah, I get that Shaq is the now spokesman of Papa John's because real Papa John is a monster.
Mm-hmm.
But instead, just, I don't know, like, I'm mad. I'm just real mad about it.
I watched the 15-second commercial, and that's Secretly Shaq.
So does he deny being Shaq? And I'd watch it right now, but I'm listening to you guys.
They cut all of it out. They cut all right, so Shaq, it's 15 seconds. Shaq walks in wearing a blonde wig and a mustache.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone is stunned. Also, clearly all of these Papa John's employees knew about this ahead of time because cameras are set up behind the scenes.
Right.
But
a very important customer is coming in today.
Yeah. Yeah, we've all put makeup on all of you, but don't act surprised. Or act surprised when he comes in. Shaq walks in, takes off his prospector goggles, and says, "Hello, I'm looking for the epic stuffed crust pizza you guys all serve here." And they're just stunned, and then going, "You guys got me. I'm Shaq." What? You just jump in across the entire game of the show.
You skipped the denials.
You skip the denial. You skip the people questioning it.
Secretly Shaq is a show about perseverance, honesty, and coming to your own conclusions. And they took out all of those elements.
It's also about gaslighting.
And gaslighting.
But I think my biggest problem with this lesser Secretly Shaq is that I always pictured Shaq having a more high concept disguise. Like, like this is just Shaq in a wig. I pictured like Shaq as a baby, or like Shaq as like an old woman knitting in the corner of the store, like
Shaq as a massive dog.
Yeah,
like a big shaggy dog. He comes in as, you know,
he's riding a big shaggy dog.
Or he's
like
riding
a horse.
a big shaggy dog.
Wow, that would have to be a very large dog.
Yeah, it's a Clifford.
Maybe it's like one of those costumes where it looks like he's riding the dog, but really he's powering the dog and the tiny human on top, you know?
That's for the special bonus episode where you have to both deny that that's Shaq and also deny that that's not a real dog.
Right. That's double denial.
But, you know, high concept stuff. Like he's supposed to be something, and this is just Shaq in a wig.
Clearly they did not give the art department much resources for this. Clearly props and costumes did not get any sort of budget, because they have, what is that, like a grunge wig that he's wearing, like a 90s grunge wig?
Yeah.
Cobain-esque.
Yeah, it's very Cobain-esque.
Just all these comments on this YouTube video. LOL, I love Shaq. You got me. No, you didn't. If you fell for this in 5 to 10 seconds, I doubt our education system.
Maybe we need to use this as be like, hey, we're going to do this, but there's going to be gaslighting. And we take this out as like a pitch shock, you know? Because people apparently, we've already proven, the proof of concept is there. They love it. The people love it.
Is Papa John's just the scummiest pizza chain in America?
Absolutely. Especially
after this. Just, I don't know. There's something so about it. It's gross.
This is it. This is what broke Papa John's for you, not all the other horse
It was
shit.
already all of the titular Papa's actions.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, well, we gotta save face by bringing in everyone's most beloved person, Shaquille O'Neal, the man who couldn't shoot a free throw to save his life.
Whoa.
And then he does this. He does this intellectual theft. And I don't know.
It took it getting personal for you to really be pushed over the edge.
Yeah, I don't want to make it sound like Papa John saying racist things was still okay with me. I was already over Papa. Papa was no longer in my house.
But now it's personal.
And now I have a bone to pick with Shaq.
Chad, I think we know exactly what needs to be done here, which is we need to have a free throw contest between you and Shaq for the soul of Secretly Shaq.
Yeah. Oh, I better start practicing.
You got a driveway, right? You can set up a little net and start shooting,
I can
right?
I can get a Gorilla. What was the brand we always had in Indiana? It was like Gorilla. It was like a slam dunk Gorilla. It was the glass.
What, like the Phoenix Sun Gorilla branded basketball net?
Yeah, maybe you're referencing one. There was just a company that was like Gorilla Jam or something, and it was like...
That's the 90th shit. Like, a basketball net already fucking rules. You don't need a cool slamming gorilla to make me want to play around on a basketball net, you know? Like... But in the 90s, it was like, I don't know, fucking throw an extreme gorilla on that shit. Oh my god, I just saw the picture of him with the mustache. I hadn't watched the video yet. He looks like he doesn't know if he's Shaq.
No, they drew maybe. Okay, here's an alternate version of Secretly Shaq.
Okay,
I don't want to give Papa John some more ideas, but just based on the way this
No. Feed them the ideas. See if they use them, and then we know.
If we get them twice, then I think we have a legal case.
Yeah.
The way of how disheveled Shaq looks like in this commercial, I'd say the other version of Secretly Shaq is you kidnap Shaq. Right, and you give him some sort of amnesia drugs.
Yeah,
and dress him up and put him in random places and going, "This is where you've always been.
This is your home.
This is your home. Your name is Brian." and it's Shaq doesn't know he's Secretly Shaq, and he has to kind of like piece it together. Kind of like Memento, that he used to be. Like, he sees a basketball game on TV. He's like, "Who's that?
Why do I know so much about this sport?"
So this is more Finding Shaq.
Finding Shaq. That's the next stage.
The second book of the trilogy.
Remembering Shaq. That'll be the third. That's the third iteration.
Or is it just I am Shaq?
That's when he emerges and he's back and he just plays basketball again.
It's not a big
and dominates. Maybe also, when you defeat him in that free throw competition, maybe that will drive him to finally get his free throw game up to snuff. In which case he can return to the NBA and dominate.
Sure, maybe. I was thinking after I beat him in basketball, I'm going to steal his basketball power like Space Jam, but that's fine. I can do that too.
Oh, you'll get the rest of the powers. He'll just have the free throws.
Yeah, he can keep the free throws. I'll transfer my good free throws for the rest of his basketball skills, which was just being a big man.
Being large and dominant. Yeah, very strong. Strong and large.
Just gotta warn you, Shaq, I had like an 80% percentile from free throws because my dad made me work on them,
Woo!
So better watch out.
Damn. The Gorilla Slammer really got a workout from you.
I'm also like, I'll be honest, I'm kind of still secretly scared that the last thing we heard from the original Papa John Shatter or whatever his stupid poop sounding name
was in his drunken stupor that we saw him in.
That, but also remember he said in the interview there will be a reckoning.
I did not remember. This is it. Yeah. It was a person. Oh my god, that was an attack on us.
Yeah, it was an attack on us. I thought maybe it was like COVID, but no, it was on us.
No, it was us. It was this. You know what we have to have a reckoning with? Invisible people that are ruining our lives.
Oh my god.
Excellent transition.
We need to reckon with that because apparently it's a real threat. This book was fucking terrible. This
was an awful, abysmal book.
Kevin, we've read at least one good Goosebumps since you became a full-time member of the show, right? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. There was one we liked.
Yeah, I think we started on a hideout with, Camp Cold Lake was okay.
Yeah. Yes, that one was because they had Motorboat Ghost in it.
Oh, it was your first one, Della?
No,
No, that was my first one. Go Lake, Cry the Cat. Cry the Cat was amazing. Cry the Cat was awesome.
Cry the Cat was pretty cool.
Cry the Cat was the good one.
Mm-hmm. I feel like, and I think we all agreed that How I Learned to Fly was pretty good too.
Yeah, oh yeah, that one was good, but it wasn't a horror story, it was like a superhero story.
Yeah, pretty much.
It was a superhero story with some like deep like child philosophy inside of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we've really been on a stink roll.
I feel like I'm Jesse Pinkman. We are Jesse Pinkman, and RL is Bryan Cranston's Heisenberg.
Mm-hmm.
And just like, he can't keep getting away with it.
And this one he did the greatest hits of his bullshit. Truly the greatest hits of his bullshit.
Let's talk about this book a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
What's this stupid kid's name? Sammy?
Yes.
Hold on, let me check. Yep.
Yeah.
Apparently, yes. His name is Sammy Jacobs.
Sammy Hagar Jacobs.
And Sammy lives with his parents.
And his younger brother, Simon Belmont.
Yep, Simon Belmont.
I mean, perfect child, Simon Belmont, who makes his bed and loves doing science experiments. I like Simon a lot.
Really?
Simon stank, Chad. Are you really wrong,
No?
Simon?
I don't know. It's just whenever like a kid's just minding his own business and doing his thing, I don't hate the kid.
That kid's gonna be a serial killer. That kid's like measuring his own body out of curiosity.
He devised a way to measure his fingernails, which is, I don't even understand how that could possibly happen. How could he possibly?
I just pictured he was taking measuring tape going, yep, still quarter inch. Got it. Like he was just doing that.
That level of a minutia and detail is definitely sociopath level, for sure.
Yeah.
Yep. He's gonna be eating people.
I didn't like him because of how much he had his shit together. Remember that Sammy's talking about him, and Sammy doesn't like him for the same reasons. Because apparently whenever his parents ask him if he wants to do something fun like a normal child would do, he says, "Of course not."
Oh yeah, of course not is his catchphrase, yeah.
Would you like to watch TV? Of course not. I hate that kid. I hated that kid. This one starts out with Sammy and Simon eating dinner, eating green beans and spaghetti, a very normal human dinner.
Yeah, what the fuck is spaghetti and green beans?
I didn't understand that combination at all. Spaghetti takes up the entire meal when you have spaghetti.
But it's still a very normal human dinner. And I say human very purposefully.
Oh, was that foreshadowing?
No, I don't think so.
No, Kevin, don't give it credit.
So they're eating a very normal human dinner, having very normal human conversation, right?
Yeah.
And we start off, it's greatest hits, baby. Aloof parents not listening to the kids. Younger sibling being annoying. And they fake out. They do a fake out, right? Where you think maybe Simon is drawing parent aggro for a brief moment, right? And then quickly we are subverted back into the standard RL trope of parents, steaming the kid off, which is a great phrase that I had to jot down. Was I steamed? Take a guess. Steamed means angry for the listeners who didn't read.
It's pissed. They couldn't say pissed.
Couldn't say pissed, so he said steamed.
Yep.
Steamed. I am royally steamed.
My piss is really steaming out of my dick right now.
God, can you imagine that hot a piss and it just hits you, it steams? Oh my god.
Your dick tip is whistling like a kettle.
That's a Resident Evil monster right there. Yeah.
We've all taken a hot piss in anger.
A hot anger piss, without a doubt.
Yeah.
If you ever... That's such a good, legendary mean dad thing to do, that when he'd piss, it was just hot. It was just hot, steamy piss. He was real mad.
We've all had our dads pull over on a road trip where we were grab-assing in the back seat, and he said, "I'm pulling over and taking a hot piss on the side of the road."
And the steam's so bad it car crashes nearby.
You wait in silence as steam rises from the tree your dad has walked behind.
The windows are fogged like you're in the mist, just like, oh, dad's really mad.
I just imagine the 1950s. The interstate system is being born, and dads are hot pissing all over the country. Hot anger pissing all over the country.
Some say that's what first put the hole in the ozone layer, is just all that hot steam piss.
That was the
It's true. This book doesn't have much. That's why we're hot pissing.
So this kid is angry, and rightfully so. Would you guys agree?
His parents are the worst. They totally ignore him. They're scientists, and they study light and lasers and stuff like that, and they bring their work home with them.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's a little creepy.
It's creepy.
But portrayed as more annoying than anything.
Right.
I kind of thought it was cute that they were doing math for each other on the table.
They did have a good relationship. They just didn't have a good relationship with their children.
Yeah, they're good. They're a good couple, not good parents.
Yes.
Yeah, they should not have been parents.
Yeah. Dad should have taken a couple extra hot pisses instead of going and having kids. I just think that all of Sammy's problems are him acting out because he's not being paid attention to. That's all I think. I don't think he had anything he did. I don't think Sammy did nothing wrong. I'll say it right now. I'm going to put it out on the top. Sammy did nothing wrong here.
Sammy sucks, though.
He does.
Sammy plays all of his cards in the wrong order.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he constantly, like, this book has a lot of, like, conveniences, right? Like, you know, there's a thing in storytelling where, like, you can do conveniences, but once you have more than, like, one or two in a story, it starts to kind of feel like, well, now every character's just on rails running into, like, the fact that the parents are specifically developing a molecular detection light.
Yes.
Which is the most, like, broad, we don't understand the concept at all. We'll just see invisible things, basically.
The fact that this book is my best friend is invisible, and that we are given the information about the molecular detector light within the first couple chapters is such an obvious, here's the device that solves the problem, right?
Yeah, it's like beyond a Chekhov's gun. It's just like, I don't know. It felt so blatantly just it's only used for this.
I would say you can do that, like have the molecular detector light, and like pull it in Bruges and break it or something like that.
Right.
Like it's the obvious solution, and then like you just like wave it around in front of your audience, and then you break it before it can be useful.
Exactly.
Totally.
Exactly. That's what you needed in this because we were so far ahead of Sammy, right? Like as a reader, you like know the solution, you see him not doing the solution, and you're like, it's in the basement, Sammy. Just go to the basement, get the thing, point it in your room.
It's
you're
right there.
The thing that pisses me off about the molecular detection light, it's there because he thinks the kids reading this book are stupid. And they'll be like, oh, the molecular detection light. Why didn't I think of that? That was such a great way to bring that little detail back.
There's a lot of that. And I also felt like, I don't know, when I was reading this one, and maybe I've thought about this every time I've read one of these Goosebumps books as an adult, but I was reading it, and like, again, in terms of like intelligence of the reader, I was like, did I ever fall for these cliffhangers? I was like, literally this time, like, I was reading it this time, and I was like, did these even fool me as a child? I don't think so.
I don't know this one even had, like, this one had really weird cliffhangers. They're all the standard beats, but just like a lot of kind of just the scene ends with not even cliffhanger, just like, and I ran, and then I opened a door.
Right.
Yeah, some of the chapter breaks are more just scene changes.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even like something you need a chapter break for, it's something you need a paragraph break for.
Right.
Which I found, I guess I found refreshing. There wasn't the fake out cliffhangers as much, but yeah, particularly Paul, way like all of these beats of like, oh no, like, so the big convenience that really like felt like almost too much was, sure, I'll buy that these parents happen to be high-tech inventors who are creating specifically invisible thing detections. Sure, this invisible boy picked the wrong house to try to stay in, but like then it was also that like meanwhile in the very first couple chapters, was it Rebecca, Roxanne, thank you, Roxanne, you know, Sammy's real best friend, supposed
best friend,
even though they don't like each other at all.
They're frenemies for sure.
Yeah, is like, hey, you and I are both going to go see this ghost movie, right? Which never comes into play. They never go see that ghost movie.
Yeah,
but they talk about it a lot. Instead, let's go do a report on a haunted house for our English class. Sure, fine.
It's a science project, Chad.
Was that the one, the science project?
Yeah,
I swear she said English at the beginning. I was like, what the hell is that for?
It was because he drops a bunch of science, like regular science project ideas, and then she drops that, and you're like, girl, you don't know. That's not what science is. They're not going to
let you do that.
That's a Kevin Cole-ass science project. I was the worst science student in the entire world.
Kevin, me too.
But I feel like being a kid going, I'm going to try to do like a paranormal thing and prove it. At least, I don't know. That's something. I would have supported you, Kevin.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. And we didn't get that support, but I think I felt that support deeply as a child. I felt from afar.
I felt the warmth of Chad.
A future friend is behind me right now.
A future friend. Oh, that's great. I love that.
I like that. Yeah. It was something about like in the first couple of chapters, Roxanne is saying, we're going to go to this house.
Right.
And I want you to get footage of a real life ghost. And then like that keeps coming up. And then Sammy just never goes, well, I have this invisible boy who's hanging out with me.
Right.
I could put 2 and 2 together and really make some money here.
Really get some cash.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't seem too cash motivated.
There was something like halfway through this book where I actually thought maybe it was going somewhere into like the upper echelon of Goosebumps books where like
really okay.
Well, only in that like my limited memory of Invisible Men stories, right? I hate that my most prevalent one is Hollow Man. That's the one I saw as a kid and it just really stuck in my brain. That's fucking fucked up weird movie with Kevin Bacon killing a cat. But like there's something about the actual horror idea of an invisible person where you don't know they're there and could be possessive. This is kind of what I assume is in that Invisible Man one that came out last year.
Watched it. It absolutely is. And I think this book, and I think you guys will agree with me, hits a lot of what is really scary about that is the abuse angle of it, right? And like, this book there's some serious child-on-child abuse in this book.
Oh my god, yes. Yeah.
Like serious child abuse.
Yeah, that's the part where I was like, okay, this is getting maybe a little scary in that like if we're burying the lead, it's just that Sammy is a boy who starts noticing that things are weird, or he's tripped, or there's spaghetti in his bed because this invisible boy eats like a monster, but he isn't a monster.
Yes. Or is he?
And then the boy just goes like, and the invisible boy's like, hey, is his name Brent?
It's Brent because I kept thinking of Brent Spiner. In my mind, this ghost was Brent Spiner.
It's 55-year-old Brent Spiner.
It's a little boy, like a fully grown man shrunk to the size of a little boy of Brent Spiner.
Well, he's described in such a way where I was like, I think this person's really strong. Like,
yes.
And it made me go like, maybe there's something about a invisible human who doesn't have like social skills that is very terrifying. He described like Brent early on when he kind of reveals himself to Sammy is like, oh, my parents made me invisible so that no one would see me. And like, I don't know where my parents are. I don't remember where I came from. It's kind of me. I just forgot everything.
Right.
So just like briefly hopping back to like Invisible Man stories.
Yes, please.
This sort of trope is as old as Plato, at least. Plato wrote about the Ring of Gyges, which was a magic ring that would turn you invisible. But he was writing it about accountability. Okay. Like if a person has no accountability, if they can't be held responsible for their actions, then they will naturally become a monster.
Okay.
The only thing that keeps us Plato thinks the only thing that keeps us good is the fact that we're observed and people remember the shit we pull.
Huh. It's almost like that's how the internet works.
That's really insightful, Kevin, because I was kind of struggling as I was reading this book to think about like if this was just my personal opinion, but I felt like invisible stories. My memory, I was like, maybe I've only ever just seen like pervy, fucked up invisible stories or something. What was like, it's always used for bad intentions.
Right.
There's never like, whenever early on and like even like high school and college, you meet new people are like, what's your favorite superpower? If someone said I want to be invisible, I'm like, don't trust that fucking person.
Yeah, that person's got evil plans for sure.
There's no good ways to use invisibility other than tripping a bank robber. That is the only thing you can do.
Or helping a bank robber, depending on how you feel about the bank.
More likely you're going to use it for crime because the general perk of invisibility is you can get away with something exactly how you described, Kevin. I'm glad that Plato backs this up.
That's why, invisible people are so scary. It's because they can get away with anything. And that's why there's this weird power dynamic between Brent and Sammy. Because Brent is accountable for nothing and Sammy gets blamed for everything.
Right. And that's like the classic Goosebumps trope, right? His little kid gets blamed for everything. And I think that's what's really frustrating about this book is because we've seen this trope so many times, right? Yeah. And you just want to see a little bit more proactive action on Sammy's part in this book. And you do not get that.
As opposed, and anything beyond Sammy's main play when he wants someone else to believe him is, quick, look over there. And then, that gives Brent enough time to stop doing whatever the fuck he's doing.
Right.
Yeah. So, but it's never like all of the other tropes from Invisible Stories, right? There's never a try to catch it on camera, throw paint somewhere to get paint on him.
Right.
Like, all of these things, and literally Sammy just constantly goes like, please believe me, there's an invisible person. There's just nothing.
The one piece of proof that was just so astoundingly stupid to me was at one point he comes down to breakfast to eat his cereal, and the cereal is eaten already, and he thinks that his little brother ate it or his dad ate it. And then his mom's like, if nobody ate your cereal, you idiot. Just go sit down and eat pour another bowl. Eat just some cereal. And he's like, no, Mom, look, the spoon is on the left side of the bowl. You know me, classic Sammy always puts his spoon on the right side of the bowl. I hated that moment. I hated it so much. It was so mundane and such a little piece of minutia, and I fucking hated it for some reason.
It's kind of weird, like the little quirks about Brent. Like he needs food. Like he eats a lot.
Yeah.
He's always hot. Like he's opening windows and stuff because like he's burning up.
Yep.
Like there's some like invisibility side effects that make it a little interesting. That's like the condition that goes along with being invisible.
Well, I'll say this. Now, Kevin, you're talking about maybe it's invisibility related. I think maybe there's some, and this is me totally adding a layer that's not there and is giving me some more credit than it deserves. I think maybe there's an environmental reason for these things, Kevin.
Oh,
we'll get there. We'll get there.
You're going way deeper than I was. I just honestly felt like not necessarily the physical violence aspect, but in terms of Brent being always hungry and getting really hot and sweaty and not knowing his own strength a couple times. I'm like, is this me? Is this teenage me?
Is this little Chad?
Like, at one point I thought you were gonna see Brent by just his like sweat perspiring on his forehead. I was like, is this just like a big awkward invisible me that's just trying to find a friend? I'm like, oh no, it's not. But he's really a hungry boy.
What was the dirty character, the dusty dirty character from Peanuts?
Pigpen?
Pigpen. You think like he just has like a Pigpen level like wetness that he just leaves around everywhere he's going. Is that what you're imagining?
Yeah, because at some point, listen, in every invisible story, you start to ask questions of logic, like what exactly is invisible? Brent says very clearly, and I appreciate they brought it up. One of the first questions Sammy asks, "Are you naked?"
Yeah,
smartest thing Sammy's asked.
It was what was on all of our minds for sure.
Yeah, and Brent goes, "No worry, my parents made my clothes invisible too." Like, sure, fine, that's very hand wavy, but whatever, sure. Yeah, but then like at some point, I always go like, what when things come out of the invisible body?
Right.
Do they stay invisible? Does it mean it takes a poop? Does the poop stay invisible? I need to know.
Well, he does touch on that because in the beginning of the book, for some reason, he's thinking about how he would love to be invisible. Although all of Sammy's actions are crying for attention, so I don't think he wants to be invisible. I do not believe that that this boy wants to be invisible. He does think about, oh man, I saw this movie about the Invisible Man, and he ate some food, and you could see it digesting in his stomach. But later in the book, Brent is eating some pizza, and it goes into his body and disappears.
Yes.
Okay, before we get to the pizza scene, which I really do want to talk about.
Okay.
I have to talk about the chalkboard scene.
Yes.
This is before we even know Brent's name.
Scariest scene of the book.
Scariest scene of the book. Like, RL kind of gets one, actual scare per book. I think the chalkboard scene is horrifying.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because he focuses on hot breath on Sammy's face. Because, Sammy's going up to the chalkboard in math class and he doesn't know what the problem is. And while he's up at the chalkboard, he feels tight hands around his hand and he's bolted in place and he can feel hot breath on his face.
Yes.
And it's Brent, who we don't know Brent's name yet,
right.
But it's Brent moving Sammy's hand to do the math problem.
Right.
Mhm.
And this interaction is so painful, like physically painful and confusing and weird, that Sammy sprints from the math class
Screams
screaming.
and sprints from
Yeah.
the math class. Yeah.
This is some Hereditary looking in the reflection shit. Kevin, it scared the hell out of me because he goes into the hallway and he has like a nervous breakdown in the hallway.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. That part was legitimately scary.
That part's great. Also, just want to pull out that small detail that stood out to me afterwards when the teacher comes and checks on him.
Yeah.
And Sammy's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just freaking out because I didn't have any breakfast."
Mm-hmm.
And says the teacher sent him to the cafeteria to have something to eat. I'm like, wait, because that a thing that we could have just done all the time? Because we have just told the teacher we were hungry and we go get snacks?
And we get more food?
Oh, no. No. No.
They don't even give
No.
like free food to kids who need it.
Chad, that is the saddest, most salient point I think you've ever made on this podcast.
I think best case scenario, you'd be sent to the nurse, and the nurse would give you like food that she had to pay for.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what it'd always be.
Yeah. The little person would have to step up in this situation for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I did like that the teacher showed some empathy. In fact, 2 teachers show empathy to Sammy in this book, and it's nice.
Yeah.
It's very nice. They do not treat him poorly. They say, "Wow, man, you seem really fucked up right now."
It's a nice contrast to his horrible parents.
Absolutely. His horrible, aloof parents, for sure.
Mm.
Kevin, I'm with you, though. That scene I wrote down was the scariest scene. It was just like, it was like you said, it didn't play on what is happening. It was truly just, we were taken into the interiority of Sammy in that moment, and we were there living with him in his anxiety.
Yeah.
I wrote down for that scene weirdly sexual chalkboard scenes.
Yes.
Well, yeah, I was like, in my mind, not to be too graphic, like Brent was mounting Sammy to do that. Is how I was picturing it.
And we don't know the physical stature of Sammy, which again, it will be something that is revealed at the end of the book. But maybe that was necessary for this, because there's a later scene that involves a very physical, sexual type thing.
Yeah.
Well, at this point, I was starting to assume, like, by the time of the big race, also just another thing that's been this boy Sammy's got a lot of stuff going on, right? He's got a movie he's got to go see. He never goes sees. He's got a science / I still swear he says English English report.
It's not. It's science.
On Ghost.
I'm sorry.
Chad, I'm sorry, but it is a science report.
I will find it later and then ask Kevin to cut my big stand out of this episode.
Chad, guess what? You've been on Secretly Science, and you've made us deny it 3 times. It was an English report.
This is my Picard's 4 lights.
There are 4 Shaqs.
There are 4. I see 4 Shaqs before me. There's the big event where it's the inter-high school Olympics. Sure, not a thing.
Yeah,
you could just say track meet, but fine.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
RL didn't know what sports was.
It sounds cooler when he says the inter-high school Olympics.
Yeah, like, okay, sure. Are you guys doing the decathlon? I don't understand.
This is marketing, Chad, and that's what RL truly excelled at, was marketing.
Sure. During the big race, after Sammy's told Brent multiple times to leave him alone, Brent just kind of like assaults him during the race.
Yeah, here's the confusing part, and especially during this race. I can't tell in the beginning of this book if Brent is an antagonist or trying to be helpful to Sammy.
Yeah.
If he's trying to be helpful, he sucks at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something about, like, all the things he does in the beginning are actively hurting Sammy. Of like opening the window so it blows everything out of the house. The food, but like the food in the bed that's the first thing that gets Sammy in trouble is described as if like you were intentionally trying to hurt someone.
Yes.
Just like raw food in the bed sheets, like peanut butter and jelly all over the floor. I'm like, I don't think that's what a kid who's trying to eat would do. That's like a sabotage.
Yeah, it seemed sabotagey. So it was confusing. There was really like maybe it's purposeful misdirection, but it was so misdirected that I truly did not know how to read the situation.
And speaking of food, the pizza scene where Red is like eating pizza, where we see like the first overt sign of invisible kid, like the floating pizza. I don't think I've ever seen a Tim Jacobus cover art like recreated one for one in the text.
Yes, I want to talk about that. Yes, it's the first time.
Yes, I also thought that as I was reading. I was just like, whoa, it's the cover. I see it. I can look at the cover right now.
Yeah, Brutus is in there also reacting, hair standing on the back of his head to the pizza, exactly like Tim Jacobs drew.
Two paws on cheeks.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This cover is much. Like this is
lot.
This is a wacky Jacobus cover.
Hey, how did Brent know how to do the math equation?
Okay,
because he's good at math.
But he's like lived a feral child's life.
Here's the thing, we don't know if Brent knew how to do it. We just knew he was going to help.
I guess that's true. It didn't say, like, I got the equation right, and then I screamed. It was just my hand was moving on the chalkboard.
Right.
Yeah, he could have written, like, Dennis or something. Like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. We did not know that. And I wondered that, too, because I would thought it would be kind of cool if it was like, wow, you're so smart, Sammy. You got the question right. But we don't even, again, we delved right into the psychological terror of happening in Sammy's mind. So we didn't really get to see what happened with the question, with the math question.
These are like similar beats to Haunted Halloween, with like Slappy like helping at first and then becoming a nuisance and then becoming the final boss.
You know what? Kevin, I totally think you're right. You're bringing up something that I think in both Haunted Halloween and this that I felt like, maybe just because it's a natural part of the trope, but I feel like I was missing, which is a moment where the kids who are making this metaphorical deal with the devil, either be it Slappy or Invisible Brent, like actually benefit from the pact, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, I'm a little worried about this, but I will encourage it because, like in Happy Halloween, Slappy just fucks up the bullies and the kids don't even know it. But like the monkey's paw type story of I kept wanting Brent to do something in this book where Sammy was like, okay, Brent, you're pretty good. I'm telling you, you are my friend.
Again, this was like if Sammy had like been like, oh, I can use this invisible kid to my advantage. You can hit all of the same beats and have the same problems, right? The same outcomes, but at least have, like you said, Chad, have him be doing a deal with the devil and have it backfire on him.
The problem is Brent is a suck-ass devil. Like, he's not very good at granting wishes.
He's that great Will Ferrell sketch from SNL where he's the devil and he teaches him guitar and he's really bad at it.
Yeah.
I kept having this question of like, I know it has to happen for the convenience of the book, but I kept going like, Brent, why Sammy? Like, it kind of gets brought into contrast, especially where halfway through Sammy's like, I gotta get rid of this guy, as he's bringing him chicken. So
he feeds him some good fried chicken. It's like,
good fried chicken
it's delicious, right?
Oh, but you know what's even better? Roxanne, her parents make even better chicken. Silence. You should go live with Roxanne. He doesn't even like try to like let it set for a second. He just goes for it. And then Brett's like, I don't want to be Roxanne's friend. I want to be your friend. I want to be like, why? What is about this boy that you are obsessed with, Sam?
Again, we have learned through Sammy's actions that he immediately plays every card he has onto the table.
But also, like, I mean, this brought up some memories of like clingers in my young life.
Oh yeah.
Who I'm like, listen, dude, I don't want to ride bikes with you.
Yeah,
totally.
Absolutely. And it creates some major problems for him, which Roxanne, again, major frenemy, because he has this instance at the chalkboard and then the instance at home with the messy room, and he's trying to sort shit out, right? And Roxanne knows about this and hears him talking to the invisible person because he's trying to prove to her, that his supposed friend, that this thing is tormenting him, right? And the next day he shows up to school and Roxanne has told the entire school, and they're all fucking ragging on Sammy. They're ripping into him. They're pretending to be talking to invisible friends. They're really
well coordinated.
Super well coordinated. So much so, his teacher fucking rags on him and does the same thing to him.
Yeah, the flash mob that these kids set up is fantastic.
There is total buy-in in this school.
Also, is it weird that there's never an utterance of what would be kind of assumed to be the translation of what's going on of you like imaginary friend
until the end. At the end, that does come up.
Do they say imaginary friend?
Mm-hmm. At the very end.
Okay.
His parents eventually like try to get him to see a therapist.
Oh yeah, I guess they do bring it up there. That just felt like as opposed to Brent thinks there's an invisible person he's talking to, the slight difference of the Harvey of it all, that old classic Jimmy Stewart movie with the big invisible rabbit of like, oh, this guy's just a dreamer. He's just likes to pretend, as opposed to this person's crazy. There was almost like just a jump to that. It's made as a nitpicky,
right,
nitpicky thing.
And they hinted that a little bit in the beginning too, like when he's called out to do the math problem, he is staring off into the distance. And as a daydreamer, have suffered that fate many times in my life.
Oh yeah,
like I mean, definitely lost in a reverie and then punished by a teacher. Definitely felt for him there. and then that's when he has the psychological breakdown in the hallway after that. So he is called out for that briefly, but for the most part, people are just making fun of him. They're just ragging on this kid. And he ends up in the library, and this is right before the haunted house sequence, which I think is, Kevin, we talked about how scary the math sequence is, but I do think the haunted house sequence was also scary.
Yeah, that's my top.
Oh, I was kind of bored for the whole haunted house.
Well, we know what's happening, right? We know why it's happening, but the actual sequence itself was I know it wasn't even scary. It was just child abuse. It was like it was gore porn, right?
Children are actually being strangled. Again, at this point in my mind, Brent is 6'6", has like of mice and men Lenny syndrome, and is just like
does not know
strangling these children because you're right, Kevin. It's been set up since the very beginning. This house legend where like people always know, and even in my mind, I'm like, well, at the very least, we're gonna find out that that's where like Brent used to live.
Yes, that's what I thought too. Yeah, mm-hmm.
Yeah, or that's where his parents are because he mentioned his parents, so you feel like you're gonna find that out.
Yeah, the hedge house is what it's called, and it's it's sort of. I feel like it's sort of there to stretch out this book.
It is, honestly. It 100% is.
Because it feels like a little. I mean, it's nice that there's like a little different story inside this story. Mm-hmm. It's almost like a mini-sode inside of this story, but it just doesn't fit. It doesn't feel like it belongs there at all.
It's an excuse to paint a scary picture, right?
Yeah. Most of this book really felt like RL painting by numbers. Mm-hmm. Like we see falling hard on our knees and elbows in here. We have sour smells. Like we get both of those call outs twice, and like with the neglectful parents, and it just sort of feels like he's just doing the AI RL. Like he fed a bunch of books into
an AI, and here's what came out.
Yeah, the fact that Sammy's brain like turns off through the entire ghost attack of like, wow, this is a real ghost. Sammy, you've been dealing with an invisible boy for the entire book. It was just
he's been tormenting you the whole time, Sammy. Come on.
It's clearly Brent. Like it was such a weird, I don't know. The fact that there wasn't even like, I would need to have like seen a different version of Brent, even maybe like he's appearing with ectoplasm or something to even think that it isn't Brent. So the multiple chapters of poor Roxanne being like, she is choked, that a pillow is taken and she is smothered.
Oh yeah, that was hardcore. Yeah,
it's fucked
That's
up.
Amazing. Yeah,
and then the weird part is it's not even from a possessive invisible man side of like, I was like, well, at least at the end we're gonna find out that Brent's like, oh well, I wanted to kill her so I'd be your only friend. No, Brent's just like, that was a funny joke, right? No, Brent. No, it wasn't.
It's so fucked up. I did real quick. We are moving towards the end here. I did really want to touch on this one thing that I thought was so fucking real. He's in the library, dealing with the aftermath, and he's just trying to have a moment of peace. Sammy just wants to eat his damn sandwich in peace and live his damn life away from the torment and mocking entire flash mob of school that has overtaken him. And he's doing that, and then of course Brent shows up, starts eating his sandwich and fucking with him once again.
Which is a big like power, like a primal power move.
Absolutely.
Like if someone else like uninvited eats your food, it turns on something in your lizard brain that is like, kill this person.
Chat smash.
In RoboCop, when the villain sticks his finger into a glass of wine and then licks it, it is the most aggressive action in that entire movie is when he does that.
There's just something in our brains that is like, if you're eating my food, I have to like throw you against a tree.
Either I must kill you or I must hot piss. One or the other.
Yeah.
I did love the one little detail, though. He talks about being afraid of getting in trouble in there, and he talks about how the one girl in his class, Claire, got in trouble in the library and was given 100 book reports to do. 100 3-page book reports, and he heard she's only through 20 of them. And I was like, yo, that's some real ass shit that I like remember. You know, like when you're younger, you're like, I heard that they have to write book reports for the rest of the year. Like, and it just felt very real. I liked that little detail. I thought it was like one of those moments where RL tapped into what I felt was like a real like child myth vibe that really occurs in there. But then he gets in trouble in there. The librarian puts a hand on his shoulder and is like, Sammy, if you ever need to talk, I am here. I will listen to you. I am here for you, Sammy. You're going through some shit.
And that's humiliating to him, which I thought was wild.
Yeah.
Right? Is that this, and maybe true? Like,
as a kid, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like the other kids are like making fun of him now for the invisible thing. Like, this kid has to change schools. Like, honestly, there's nothing for him here. After how bad he fucks up at the Olympics, he trips. That's really the only thing that happens.
The Olympic thing, I don't know if we detailed on the podcast that Brent says kind of out loud during the relay race, the baton, like, I'll help you, I'll make you fly, which means that as they're running, Brent is going to Dirty Dancing, like lift him up over his head and run. That requires giant strength.
Again, incredible strength.
And that's why I think he didn't know the answer to the math problem, because he's clearly just helping to help, and he's bad at everything.
I just kept waiting for like there to be some moment of like maybe people are figuring this out too, because if you're seeing a child, everyone's watching this boy run. He's in the lead, so an entire audience attention. If a boy is starting to like float off the ground, I think people would tell, but I don't know. Maybe Brent didn't get him that far off.
And again. We don't know the physical nature of Sammy. And as we're swiftly approaching the point where we will talk about that, I am sure, even if you haven't read this book, you know where we're going with this. Because this is like Kevin, like you said, this is a remix. This is a remix of all the best RL singles, right?
We've been here, yeah.
We've been here before.
Say, right before that very ending, we should say probably maybe the first time I think the book has gone anywhere is that Sammy is being sent to a mental institution. Seems to be they are sending him off to a farm.
And here's where Simon truly sucks and truly is a bad child. Sammy, whose parents finally have begun to pay attention to the obvious issues that he is having, although they're albeit missing his description for why it's happening. But they are missing that, and they're like, we're taking you to see a doctor. It's going to be good for you. You're going to be able to talk things out. Again, dealing with mental health in a very healthy way in this book. But Simon says, no, father, you must pause, brothers help. I have a 4th grade science project to attend to. Please halt everything for me. To which the dad swiftly is like, shut the fuck up, Simon. Go measure your fucking fingernails by yourself, and we'll see you later. Your brother's feeling sick.
I thought I remember. See, that's so funny in my mind, the way things have been going, and the parents had loved Simon. That I thought if you'd asked me, the parents said, "Okay, we can delay it a night." Like I thought they said. I thought for sure they're going to be like, "Sure, you know what? Our other child's good science future is more important."
I actually read their response the first time as that, Chad, and then I had to go back and reread it. And I was like, "Okay, no, they didn't do that. Thank God."
Okay, they shut it down.
No, they shut it down.
That's maybe not like going to get mental help is not scary. The way it was like described to me, where the parents were just listening, I'm like, this is the 90s. They are going to take him to a facility where he is not listened to, and they just inject him with drugs.
Right.
Like,
yes.
that's how I was picturing the dark fate of Sammy. Does it go straight into our climax here?
I think so. Does anything else really happen in that part? It's just more of the same, right?
So Sammy's last ditch effort is, okay,
right,
I'll go to the doctor, but let me use the molecule detection light and shine it on Brent. And his parents are like, okay, but then you're going in the car. And Roxanne's there too for some reason. And
Roxanne's like, I want to see him off.
Yeah. Well, I think she's like, I want to see the ghost video that you took. So they shine the molecule detection light onto the Invisible Boy, and then everyone's characters change completely for this next scene.
Yes. They all say, it's a monster.
Yep.
And that's a cliffhanger.
Oh no, a monster. An invisible monster masquerading as a boy. How scary. What a twist. Well, that's great. End of story. That was a great way to end it. Very creepy.
Yeah.
We don't have to go into detail about what happens next.
Nope. Book's over. Book ended there.
That would be fine there. That would have been fine.
But no.
Yep. Sammy's dad kills it with a shotgun. That's how it ends.
Sammy's dad fires wildly into the closet.
No one is upset. It was an abomination. It deserved to die.
As soon as it dies, the invisibility cuts out, so you just see all of the viscera and gore, all of like Burn After Reading, just splattered across the closet.
Yep. And everyone breathes a sigh of relief. Okay, so monsters. I forget how exactly they do it. They describe Brent as a monster, and as Sammy, as the narrator, is like he had 2 legs and 2 arms, and like he's like, oh, he's describing a normal human boy.
And then in a very natural way, the parents and siblings are all going, but where are his tentacles? And where are his spindly things?
Oh, there's hair growing out of the top of his head. How gross.
Yeah. So, RL has rather cleverly pulled one over on us, dear listeners. It turns out we were in Monster World the whole time.
The whole time, where they eat very normal monster meals, such as spaghetti with green beans.
The signs were there.
That's what pisses me off, right? It's like, at least leave or have like hints, right? Like have like hints scattered throughout, so that when we can look back at it and go like, oh cool, that was weird, and I just thought it was weird because the family was weird or something like that, like like have some like Calvin and Hobbes, like the green goo that my parents make me eat every night, like some stuff like that.
I stopped by the store to buy mice, and you assume it's for the pet snake. I don't know.
Right. Yes. Give me something like that. Give me some, like, fuck with me a little bit. But no, it's straightforward. It was just that they were monsters, but they live in a completely human world with completely human things all around them. But they do say that humans are an endangered species. So in my idea, the world has overheated. It's too hot for humans. That's why this kid is always hot, and they're living in the left out shell and husk that humanity has left behind.
I like that. I was thinking that too, Paul. That last line has to imply that there is, because he says Brent's like, my parents turned me invisible so no one would see me.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, so that must mean that like, and when the parents say there's an endangered species, we know who humans are. That must mean that like a great war happened.
Yes.
An I am legend of some sort.
Yes.
Occurred and the humans lost the war.
Right. Right.
This is A Quiet Place 15.
Yes. This is well down the line.
So when the best part of the story takes place in your own imagination, I don't think that's a good
No, that's not good. Yeah.
Yeah, when the vast majority of the work has to be done afterwards without any sort of concrete or even like semi-concrete details allowing us to start to come up with these conclusions. We've had to get purely creative for this to come up with the best parts of this book.
My problem with this ending is it seems easy to just say they're monsters, end on a twist. But knowing RL, to do that, he probably had to go back and remove all physical descriptions of characters from the work.
Yep.
Which probably necessitated the whole haunted house mini-sode in the middle of it.
To add back in, you think?
Yeah. That twist kind of required a lot of work to be really stupid.
Well, and the greatest thing, Kevin, now this is an issue with you not having been here since the beginning. This is literally the same ending as Welcome to Camp Nightmare.
I feel like we've done this ending in... I feel like this isn't even the only ending.
It isn't the only ending like this, but this is the same exact ending because I believe in the ending of Camp Nightmare, it's also like one boy on an alien planet, right?
Yeah, they're aliens, I believe, that are going to like head to Earth. I thought
that's what it is. They're all aliens. Everybody's aliens. That's what it was. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so while this might be like slightly different, I remember the reason why I messaged you guys both on Discord, like, fuck this book, was this thing. I feel like this twist has happened 10 times now, at least. It really feels that prevalent, and it's a good twist. I loved it when it was in the original Twilight Zone. It was a really fucking good twist. He can't keep doing it. He can't keep getting away with it. He can.
You can't keep getting away with it. I don't think it's a good twist, honestly.
Not in this book, it's not a good twist, but it can be a good twist.
I don't even think it can. I've yet to see it. I've yet to be like, wow.
The Twilight Zone episode I'm referring to, Kevin, have you seen that one?
Eye of the Beholder?
No.
Yeah, Eye of the Beholder, right? The general, Paul, remember, the general premise is like, there's this, world of kind of like pig-faced people.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even remember how they hide the reveal for so long. I can't remember how they do it, but like, yeah, essentially the one person who's human and beautiful thinks that they're the monster, and you find out the whole world's pig people, and it's
just Planet of the Apes, guys. It's just Planet of the Apes.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
I don't know.
It's bad, Kevin. It's bad. I think we can all agree that this was a very phoned-in book, an incredibly phoned-in book. And it's pulling from all the things that RL knows work, right? And it just puts them all together. But when you can take all the best parts of something and put it into one thing, doesn't mean it's going to be good.
Right.
Because it's not.
Yeah.
It wasn't good.
I genuinely, like, Kevin, you were like maybe half joking when you said the book ends just the reveal of the monster, but no, that would be a better... Let's make it an actual like horror ending of like, okay, he's a terrifying monster. It was dumb for Sammy to assume he would also be a human boy.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, well, since you can see me, I'll eat you now, or like whatever. Like just let it turn dark as opposed to Waka Waka.
And yet we are all here hot pissing away the Waka Waka.
I wonder how much is like, kids especially thinking about, you hear people talk about like Goosebumps books, like, oh man, the twists were always so crazy, or maybe that's the marketing of people telling you how to talk about talk about Goosebumps books. And was it really just this?
That's what I'm saying. While I was reading this book, and I swear I've asked myself this question on the podcast before, but I truly was going, did this work on me as a kid? I remember, and I didn't reread this book for this podcast. I missed the episode. I remember Horrorland truly getting me, truly scaring me, and the twist truly scaring me. I'm sad that I should go reread it on my own because I need to experience it and see if it does hold up in any capacity.
We should just revisit it, Paul.
We should, because two people... Kevin, you haven't reread One Day at Horrorland, have you?
No.
One Day at Horrorland Redux. We're announcing it now.
We need to do a Redux.
Yeah.
I need to reread that book because that one, I remember it worked on me. So
Yeah.
I want to know if it was any good.
No, that's a good ending one.
All
I
right.
like that one. It's not you were reading the book wrong the whole time. It's just a good, solid way to bait the story continues.
Yeah.
I wonder if the twists were a marketing tool, because back when you couldn't just look shit up on the internet, like, knowing a thing was worth a damn.
Right.
So if you were the kid who knew the twist, you could kind of smugly lord that over other kids, being like, hey, dude, you're gonna love the twist at the end of this one. It's wild. You're never gonna see it coming. I did.
I like that you affected a little bit of like a SoCal accent for that. It's fucking wild,
My bruh. Bruh.
But even as we're talking about, like, I don't remember ever having a conversation with friends about the twists particularly. Like, people going, oh, those are scary. And me going, no, they're good. You should read them. Like, never being a thing of, like, you won't believe what happens at the end of this book.
I don't think I ever discussed any Goosebumps book with anybody ever. I think I purely only read Goosebumps books because other kids were also reading them and they looked scary from the covers. That's purely why I read them.
You just kept your discoveries deep inside
of me. They were mine. My world. It was my world. My internal world.
Is Tim Jacobus just like 95% responsible for Goosebumps' success?
I think so.
I mean,
we're never gonna have RL on this podcast. It's fine. We can say it.
We can get Tim on here.
I'd love to get Tim Jacobus. You're amazing. We love you. You're very good.
I think you made this book series, Tim Jacobus. I think you are the one who did this.
Mm-hmm.
Tim, I think the cover to My Best Friend is Invisible is a little much.
Maybe I would have put the paws on the cat's face.
Yeah, a little too cartoony for me. I'm sorry.
So not the best work, but
B-.
But in the pantheon of true classics, it's okay. It's okay to have one or two that are just okay.
Yeah. You know, you got to take some swings and misses.
I am legit curious to know if the pizza scene was adapted from the cover or if the cover was adapted from the pizza scene.
I still more and more stand by my theory or our theory that the Tim Jacobus would do the covers based on the title that RL had and nothing else. Mm-hmm. And then RL would take that and go, well, I could maybe use that scene or not.
Right.
And then he would just kind of write around that. And then they also were just kind of working independently of each other. The covers were just this own thing.
That's a cool workflow. I kind of do that with my musician Joe when I make games. Is like,
but Kevin, you're good at that.
I mean, I'm not saying the workflow is the problem.
No,
it's interesting to sort of reverse engineer the workflow. Like, RL comes up with the title because we know he comes up with the title first.
Right.
Title goes to Tim Jacobus. He makes the art. RL looks at the art and either disregards what is happening in the art or goes with it.
Right. Right.
Most of the time, I feel like I never would have thought that would be the rhythm to it. I would have thought like we're both working independently or whatever after the title comes out.
Mm-hmm. And
maybe that's how it went. But like, maybe Tim like submitted this early and RL was like, oh, I could do a pizza scene.
Maybe what if this is the one where they did it independently like normal. And then they you know, Tim sends his artwork over as RL like kind of publishes his first draft, his only draft to his publisher. And they said like, dude, did you know I was doing a cat with a pizza? He's like, no. Did you know? And like, no. Well,
this was the weird synchronicity. The one time it's I love that. I love that this was the one beautiful moment that they came together over this terrible, terrible book.
Our dads
came together.
Yeah, a lower tier book for sure. There was a moment of like, I think you guys already said it. The Kevin, the way you said like the possessive friend that you don't really want to hang out with, and either because you can't, you're not going to be like super mean to a kid and tell him to get lost.
Right. It's hard. Yeah.
Yeah. Or like you feel for them because they're, you know, a little bit lonely.
And hey, you're a little bit lonely yourself and you understand what it's like and you want to help somebody else do something.
Empathy. Yeah. But so the empathy is not a burden. That sounds way too much. But the empathy is this like thing that kind of connects you to this person where they become this like bearing on your life. As a kid, it's not a big deal. Right. Like you got to invite them to your birthday party. It's a little embarrassing. Whatever.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I liked for a second or so in this book, I'm like, oh, RL's really hitting this kind of like fear-based level of a thing a kid might be able to relate to, of the overly possessive friend.
Yeah.
Who, and then it kind of just threw that all out the window for what a twist.
Fuck it. Stupid book.
Dumb book. We're done with this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a bumps and a buds.
Yeah, that's a bumps and a buds.
That's a bumps and buds. That's a boost.
And normally it's a boost. It's a boost. I think normally we would try to come up with a better ending, but I think Kevin, you already nailed it. Shotgun blast to monster's face.
Shotgun blast.
Okay, wait. Yes. Shotgun blast to monster's face, and then if RL's like, I need another twist in there, go, okay, they did it, and then a special car with an alarm shows up, and like, we are the endangered monsters protection group.
Yes.
You guys shot and killed a rare invisible monster. You're all going to jail.
I love that.
And then Sammy's dad says, "Oh no, we're not going to jail." And he raises his shotgun, and that's how it ends.
I love it.
Over my hot piss.
He's firing blasts. Meanwhile, he's just streaming out through his like open pants. Just, oh my God, he's dual wielding.
Follow the steam. You can see the steam in the tall corn.
If the piss steam had revealed Brent's location.
Oh my goodness.
This has been a Goosebuds Boys. Thank you once again for being my friend. If you like this podcast and want to support the show, you can get access to bonus episodes every month, our very cool Discord, and vote on what we read next time on patreon.com/goosebuds. It's a real rad way.
It's a real rad way to live.
We're down to 3 classic Goosebumps books. That's all we got. We're down to 3.
But we do have an extra now. Now that we've announced it, the Redux of Welcome to Heartland will be done.
Yes.
We will have to do that. So we will add one more of the classic. But then we're going on to 2000. And from what Cry the Cat showed us, we might have some fun stuff in store for us in the 2000 series.
Totally.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, to reiterate again, because I really appreciate it that people were like, "You guys stopping the podcast? Or do you get to No, we're not stopping the podcast. We run out of Goosebump books. We have.
Well, as long as people hashtag save Goosebuds.
Hashtag save Goosebuds.
It's true. It's true because people hashtag saved Goosebuds as much as they did, which I don't think was very much.
We got like one. It's a good thing Goosebuds isn't actually in danger because we got one hashtag save Goosebuds.
Yeah, but because someone did that, we added one more podcast onto us. And that was the piece of wall chicken that gave us the extra hit point.
No, we will be covering Goosebumps 2000, Fear Street. That we know that the Fear Street Netflix movie is coming out this summer. Thank you all for sending us links to that. Slappy's World, whatever. There's a ton of stuff because RL's empire is vast and expansive.
Yeah,
and will outlive us all.
And just brimming with the hottest piss.
You could, in the 2000 series, you can really feel the hot piss coming through in those books.
Every book is wet.
You know what? I'm gonna go work on my PC muscles so I can really work on my piss stream. I'll see you guys later.
Yeah, me too. I gotta go take a hot piss after that book.
Okay, I'll spot Chad so he doesn't stream.
Oh, what a true friend. All right, see you guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye!
This episode of Goosebuds is brought to you by Patreons like yourself. No, wait, they're not all Patreons. What am I saying? Not everybody's Patreon.
I mean, they are, technically.
Well, you should be like a patron. You're a patron of listening, but should be a patron of paying money to keep this show alive. Hashtag save Goosebuds. Now we read from the Book of Names.
Say the first name, Paul.
The first name is Stefan Jive Turkey Kuwabara.
The second name is Hollis Hornbeak.
The third name and the last name that I will number is Cameron Murphy Audio.
Numbers are banished now. Michael McDowell.
David Cron.
Josh Robertson.
Would love to keep doing that voice. Killing my voice. Mickey C.
Nathan Dolezal.
Clayton C. Period.
Mike Lanteri.
Buddy Morrill.
Alacade.
Mel Dipson.
Jim Greaves.
Zenkeith.
Afsheen.
Danky McStanky.
Aaron T. Stroke.
Tango Twiss.
Victor.
Brian Wells.
Zentigles.
Stealth Bates.
Rebecca McWilliams.
Joseph Miranda.
Patrick Reynolds.
Scott Colopy.
Robert Moon.
Jason Crooker.
John Keaty.
Clay Castle.
Miguel Pardo.
Christina Doling.
The third Sergio.
Lowbelly. Hate Me.
Chaos.
Matthew the Necro. Fan Mail Namicon.
Sniggy.
Reinfected.
Maddie.
Eshak Arafin.
Gregory D. Warren.
Alan Sailor.
Sam Hash.
Cody Redfield. Are you ready for Resident Evil 8, Cody Redfield?
Do you guys feel like you say the same names the same way every time and you can't help yourself, even when you try to do a funny voice?
I say some names the way you guys say them because it's the only way I know.
I can't stop it, Chalkboard. Help us.
Bradford Coulter.
Aiden Alexander Dace.
Jar Jar Slinks.
Joshua Jacobwitz.
Justin Wagman.
Chosen one.
Good switch up there, Paul.
Thanks. I really had to try.
Cardboard Walk.
Leviathan.
Jonas Blatterman.
Up in Champ.
Jonas Engman. I like that we have multiple Jonases.
Me too. Alicia Gray. I've never said it that way. I've never ever said it that way. I will never say a name again that way.
Trent Davis.
Moloister.
Carl.
Hey, Paul, pause for a second. I gotta get something off my chest. I think I love broccoli.
Chooch.
The John D. and Catherine T. MacArthur Foundation.
Joe Gorbin.
Elusive Koala.
Yadi Makovina.
Yeah, maybe if we just say it weird. Space Tiger.
Paul Grasso.
Trans rights.
Brookix.
Corey Shelley.
Jesus Christ! I'm doing it like Lois.
Christian Vanskever. I always say it that way.
Drew Applegate.
Taylor Dierks.
Joe. Remember to save early and often. Scott. Never said it that way before.
Jeremy Lowe.
Brian Hopgood.
Slumlord. Onion.
Joe.
Trendy moron.
Jordan Lockwood.
Foolish for Deborah.
Zach Cotter.
Patreon _donator, yo.
Joe. Spooky. Digital. Ghost. Tierney.
Connor Church.
Vincent Moldiga.
Luke Noodles, but Noodles with a K, but the K is typically silent in that combination of letters.
Hugh Bolin.
Tom Witham.
Zam, bam, Bino.
Nicholas Johnson.
Kevin Hamilton.
Andrew. Keep up the good work, everyone. Jadson.
Lord Cornwallis.
Elizabeth Steenweg.
Cardamom Birkenbino.
Andrew Evans.
John the Howling Eye. Do Da.
Nathan Remick. Nick it again.
D. Valdi. This is how we lose all of our Patreon.
I know, they're all like, why did you say my name so fucking weird? Some cool chads are cool and not frat chads, you see?
I like that cadence. That's good.
Go on, Cahoots.
Super Nintendo Chalmers. Never said it that way.
Sean Manogue. Thanks, Sean Manogue. Don't leave us.
I'll say this one normal. Reed Steubendyke.
Wormtown Glen.
Wormtown Glen is so funny. Oh, that's me. Wiggle it.
Joey Evans.
John Pigeon Hat Barber.
Carewise Gamgee.
Paul, watch out. Slink is behind you.
Chip Handsome.
Matt MC Lellin.
Stinklich.
Swaggy Yolo Squire.
Cameron Hansen.
Alex Moon. The robotic dog?
General Lee. Depressing.
No Mo Ray.
Sarah Kemp.
Tanya Turtle.
Chili Dish. Gambino.
Yeah.
Ben Buhan.
Brett.
Dan.
Chris Pittman is a bone wizard.
That was beautiful.
Thank you.
Boz Gerritsen.
Hey, Eric. It's gonna be all right. You're doing a great job.
You're doing a great job, Eric.
Adam, you goofed.
One jalapeno.
Muscle Bear.
Jonas and Bolton, one of our wonderful Jonases.
Calamity Carl.
When dragons rule.
A germ juice.
Keith Alcrow.
Dakota Campion.
Chris, Haunted Pajama Boner Nelson. I don't think I've read. That's a new one, and I didn't.
That took me back to a place.
Oh yeah, I've been there.
Timothy Misadilakis.
Yes.
Clay McCarty.
Nick Johnson.
Matthew Stevens.
Parker Lee.
Stephen Day.
Ham_boat. Get aboard my boat.
Come Jizzeret is a fun pun, but I don't know a good place to use it.
Come Jizzerate? Come Jizzerate.
Come Jizzerate.
Like commiserate.
Oh my
like,
god.
Nice.
Oh my god. Come Jizzerate.
Caden Franklin.
Raymond Hernandez. This night at the Funny Bone.
Flebberly.
The Crowfens.
Matthew Sutton.
Ryan Carroll.
Jeremy Bowser.
Patrick Murphy. No relation.
Megan McCormick. Mason.
Kelsey Kinnaman.
Gingerbread Men.
We're doing SNL. Hood Lemon.
Lemon.
Carter Glass.
Chase.
Lee Wood.
Russell Castberg.
Javier Jimenez.
And Brendan Arafin.
Liam Neeson's Dow.
Chris Putricus.
Jeffrey Owen Cahy is how I always say it.
Got little old moi pretty freaked.
The foundation of the Chicago Bulls. Scottie Pippen.
Sunset Streak.
Me at Virginia.
Grammaticus God. Seize the Allspark.
Jimmy So.
Peanutburg. Level 69.
Adam Muth.
Dungeon Kappa.
McHamster.
Zach Weir.
Tamid Munir.
Elliot Thompson III.
Moon Juice.
Alan G. Just some person.
Tobias Clark.
Michael Kupka.
Don't know, Chad. Julian Lamendia. Sorry. Don't have a cool voice for you.
Kelly the Barbarian?
Brendan Neal.
Andrew Villanueva?
You're telling me Cody Selman?
Robert Allen Cook III is localized in your kitchen?
Esta Mena is the Lord of Paul's Pants?
Did you get the pants, Estamena?
No,
Did you win 'em?
Estamena, I don't think. Oh, I have them. I need an address.
You better make sure
Estamena.
your pants are still there.
Let me know where. Well, now that we're out of the pandemic, I can send you the pants, Estamena.
Yeah, he just needs the address for the pants. Mike Spaghetti Jones.
The David Boy.
The Kenny M.
Redemption.
Dr. Diarrhea.
Accentuated X's on underscores. Epic Gamer 420 to 69. Outgoing accentuated underscore and X's Smith.
Kieran McNamara.
Diet Soda.
One Quigley Jones.
Chris.
Jackie Ledoux.
Coleman Laguza.
Zachary Roberts?
Mark.
Sad Star now?
69. Pauli Shore. 311.
Ross Short.
Levi Kidder.
Dakota Count.
Bryce. Dewey.
We're in a zone. I want to say we're in a zone where there are no preconceived notions of what these names should sound like. So we're free to roam here. Matthew Bretado.
Steven.
Wagmar Wigmer.
And welcome to the Book of Names. The Carb Son. Son of carbs, born of bread.
Welcome, Luke Allen.
And welcome, Matt Skellerman.
Welcome to the Book of Names. Now, longtime listeners to the Book of Names, you may have noticed some slight deviations in the pronunciation of your names. We apologize for that, but as you know, Goosebuds is dying, and we need you to save Goosebuds. Everyone here is already doing their part, but we just need everyone in general to save Goosebuds.
Yeah, we need help saving Goosebuds. We put a ley line of toothpaste around, but we think it has thrown weird energies into the Book of Names, which is why we were unable to read the Book of Names as normal.
Yeah.
Again, we will need you to help us save Goosebuds.
Go to your nearest pastor and say hashtag save Goosebuds.
Please, get involved.
Let the world know. Save Goosebuds. Hashtag save Goosebuds.